Hey, welcome to Morning Hustle.
Good morning.
I'm the Worth Playboy.
I'm my Playboys Bunny. Last week I realized after the fact that I said, and I'm Playboys Bunny.
There you go.
Like, I messed it up.
I didn't even realize.
Like, I don't even know my own name.
It's okay.
I'm Bunny.
You ready? Let's jump right into it.
Oh, no intro at all. Okay.
Cool. We got a maxim that we usually start off with. We're so organized.
Well,
we actually are.
We actually
do have an outline that we just kind of follow along. And we're glad you're here. There's some things that happened on Twitter, on the internet over the last week. And like most things, we have our podcast that you guys can listen to that's instructive. But this gives us a chance to kind of like look at some of the things more in depth.
Yeah.
Than what we can spell out even, on Twitter or in the newsletter.
Yeah.
So I can't read that.
Okay.
Hang on one second.
Maxim 102.
Yeah.
Nothing interesting would happen in a woman's life if she didn't have a man making it happen.
And we've talked about this.
Oh, yeah.
And the longer that I kind of do the relationship coaching, the more I realize it. And Bunny was the one that kind of clued me into this. She said, girls' lives are very boring.
Yeah.
And then when you kind of step back, I was like, I'll be damned, she's not kidding.
Well, they're boring. And I would say, and I think this is a great place to just kind of segue in. We were talking about women would not have success. Not 99.9% of the time would have zero success if there wasn't a male driver, even if they're in the back seat, even if they're kind of like out of the limelight, whether it's an agent, a manager, a father, a boyfriend, a husband, women, if left to their own devices, would be hustlers for one day, maybe two. And then they would need to spend all day on the couch scrolling TikTok and napping, literally.
You kind of describe it to me. And what's your famous phrase about women? Girls work on want to?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Give it to me.
Men operate under have to.
Correct.
Women operate under want to. We truly do.
Yes.
I mean, think of the number of times that a woman will be like, I have a big day planned. I have all this stuff I have to get done. Da, 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 da. And then at the end of the day, well, I was really tired, and so I took a nap. Or, well, I didn't really feel inspired to do that. I really have to be in the right mindset. Or things of that nature. And it'll be like, they'll not take kids to school that day. They'll, not accomplish things that they apparently were really important to them the day before. They'll not call a person. They'll cancel plans with friends because they don't want to. They don't feel like it.
And corporate girls that have done well in the corporate world kind of have overcome that to us. I mean,
yeah.
But again, they're in a structured environment. I have never seen a female in business that was successful that there wasn't a man behind the scenes, pulling the strings, mentoring, coaching, guiding, literally kind of like remote control.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
It's even like this Theranos.
Yes.
She's doing 11 years now, but the little Indian gentleman.
It's not always for the better.
Yeah, the Indian gentleman in his 50s who was her boyfriend, and there was like a 30-year age difference. He was running the show, but what he needed was an actress.
Yeah.
Up front, because nobody's interested. Fortune Magazine, New York Times, Washington Post, they're not interested in seeing another middle-aged Indian guy successful. It's not interesting, sexy, it's not fun. But a little college dropout blonde That's interesting.
Yeah,
And that can generate cash.
that's a good story.
Because if it had just been him, maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have blown up like it did
Yeah.
in a good way. And then, it all came falling down. But again, he was running the show.
Yeah.
Even people that were in that company and close to them did not know they were living together.
That's
which is
really
crazy.
fascinating.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's just an example. There's never, and I've never, you may have some examples, but usually once you start digging, there's a man,
Yeah.
like she said, boyfriend,
Absolutely.
husband,
Absolutely.
it's family money. Somebody's guiding her.
Well, and I even I wanted to find some photo representations of this or news articles supporting what we're talking about. Talk about the hardest thing in the world to find is proof of this.
Yeah, that's very
in the news.
It's
and it was taking me down some really strange rabbit holes. I will say.
a lot of media acrobatics are done to cover this up.
Yeah.
Just because it's not a good narrative.
No.
For today.
No.
And that's just the way it is.
No.
But
exactly.
Any man that's in business, it's just kind of like why real estate, residential real estate, is such a shit show. It's nothing but a bunch of women drinking during the day that can't manage a schedule. We've worked with realtors.
Gosh.
Not all, make no mistake. But the vast majority are a mess.
Yeah.
They can't manage their schedule.
Well, and I was thinking about, I was trying to think of powerful women over time. And even, I'm looking at Dolly Parton. I'm looking at Oprah. I'm looking at Betty Weeder because she's fresh in mind right now.
Yeah.
But they're at all level of success. Donatella Versace. They're women who are fucking powerhouses. But even down to the fact that maybe he was her biggest cheerleader, or he worked the real job while the money was doing this, for on her end. He made sure that the kids actually had a parent at home. There are a lot of examples of this. I have friends who he was more or less the stay-at-home dad. I'm not suggesting this is a good idea, but he was more or less the stay-at-home dad while she goes to medical school. She can't go to medical school and be a powerful physician in her field if there's not someone there to take care of the family.
Yeah, if you talk to a lot of women, especially girls that are doing it on their own,
Yeah.
they're like, I need a husband.
Yeah.
And the converse is true. Like I say, I'm in fitness, and I always say the best thing that a gym owner or a guy that's aspiring to become a gym owner is to marry an attorney or a physician.
Yeah.
Because the guys that I know that their wife is either a physician or an attorney are the happiest gym owners I know.
The happiest, most
easy
successful
going,
gym owners.
good hours. And everybody else it's a kick in the head.
Well, there's no pressure.
No.
There's no pressure
It's the
for
best
it
thing
to
you
be.
can do.
Yeah. Because I do think that gym ownership is very similar to real estate, where it's very much a feast or famine situation.
Yeah. And it's 4 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Monday through Saturday.
Anyway.
We won't even go into that. But
we're like,
again, in fitness, you see women get a fair shake. And 99.9% of the time, you look into the background, the husband's losing $5,000 a month on the thing.
It's true.
It's kind of a vanity. It can be, especially like the yoga studios and Pilates, can be a vanity business.
Yeah. We're getting some great comments. This is good. If you let the woman control the relationship, she'll drive it off the cliff.
Yeah.
That's really good.
True.
This is good. A friend took a week off work, a new job, because her dog was sick, and then he had to put down. She got fired, and she was shocked. This happens a lot. And inevitably, if you're a business owner, if you hire a girl, inevitably she will call in on her first day. It'll be the strangest. It's the strangest thing. She has a stomach ache. She has a migraine. She has a sick kid. And all of it is probably more like she's nervous. She doesn't have anybody telling her, no, you get your ass to work.
Yeah.
None of that. Let's see. I remember what Andrew Tate said about managing his cam girls. That's pretty good. If they could make $2,000 a day, most of them would only work 2 days a week, enough to buy whatever expensive clothes or purses they wanted. Yeah, that's
just enough.
That's a good point. Women require, as long as they're making some money that they can have play money, they're happy.
Sure.
See, any female singer for details. That's absolutely true. Those are great examples.
Oh, yeah.
Men managers, men fathers, men husbands. Think of Ike and Tina Turner. Tina Turner, rest in peace, would not be Tina Turner if she hadn't had Ike Turner.
Pushing. Yeah.
Pushing. And that's an unfortunate story, but at the same time.
And he had his own demons. I mean, make no mistake.
Yeah,
it's
I
not
did.
An ideal situation.
No, we're not, and I don't mean to even idealize, because a lot of times, look at the Jessica Simpsons and the Britney Spears out there.
Yeah,
it's like
Dad had to make sure it stayed.
They had psychotically, and Michael Jackson, psychotically controlling fathers pushing this train, this money train, because they saw. But it's an example of a girl who would not have been there had it not been for a man in the background. They wanted till that money was spent. Oh, okay. This is a continuation of the clothes and purses thing. A local bought a new house and his wife had something to oversee. House built. He bought into a local restaurant for her to work on. Yeah, exactly. A lot of times that happens. Like you said, these boutique businesses.
Yeah, it's actually cheaper for him to lose a couple grand a month on a small business that maybe he owns a real estate. It's just one less tenant he has to find.
Yeah.
But it's easier than for her to be home shopping, talking to her sister, wandering around, running around with a bunch of divorced girls.
Bored
girls get in trouble.
Are trouble. They're trouble.
And usually the guys have found out the hard way, like with the first wife.
Yeah.
They're like,
That's very true. Now, next up, I really want to dive into the thing that has taken our neighborhood ablaze this week. And what's funny about this is people act like it's a new thing. And that is older celebrity, for the sake of this conversation, men with young girlfriends or wives or whatnot. But again, this is not a new phenomenon. The fact that people are losing their fucking minds over it, just, I don't understand.
It's, and this is a relatively newer term, like age gap dating. It's a new term for basically, younger women, older men.
Yeah.
And people lose their fucking minds over this stuff.
I mean, Hugh Hefner's been doing it for
forever.
A lifetime. Did it for a lifetime. Woody Allen, a lifetime. I mean, isn't Woody Allen the one who actually married his step?
Yeah,
daughter?
that one is truly messy. It's the stepdaughter.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Jason Statham.
Girls really, they're loath to bring this one up for whatever reason. I guess because he's handsome, younger, relatively.
Yeah.
And they don't want to. I mean, he's been dating maybe 17 and 18-year-olds on the set. You know what I mean? If I have my stories right, I'm not a journalist. I'm just working off of memory.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of the actors in this realm right now that, they date younger. Who's the guy that plays Superman? Cavazos?
Oh.
Cavillo?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't pay attention to pop culture.
Yeah, but again, he likes the younger girls.
Yeah.
Or for whatever reason, that's who they're casting as a lead next to him. And he's like in his late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah. And I don't even have Leonardo on.
No, Leonardo just makes it makes it a habit.
Exactly. Nicolas Cage.
Who's been around forever.
Al Pacino. So this is the one that got everybody fired up, which is hilarious to me. I'm like, what? Do you want him? I mean, this guy looks like a nut. He looks like a crazy professor.
Now, but like somebody put a point up, and they had a picture of him like when he was in Serpico.
Yeah.
You know, he's a handsome, solid, you know, Italian maybe?
I don't know.
You know, I mean, I'm not an expert, but they're like, if I could have children that look like this, yeah, I'd do it. You know, it's a good point. You know, we're seeing guys that are 80.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to when they were 30 or 40.
Yeah.
You know, what's the potential?
Yeah.
You know, and these guys are, you know, insanely wealthy and
It
famous.
goes a long way.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, it overrides everything else.
It goes a long. It sure helps. Sean Penn.
And you know, I think that's one of the things too, was like everybody was all up in arms when they say Jeff Bezos
Yeah.
was with the Sanchez girl.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, he could have anyone, you know, but she's a machine. That's what you have to realize.
Oh,
that she is a wealthy and famous man pursuit machine.
Yeah.
And she had her sights on him.
That's her job.
Yeah, that's her job.
Date wealthy,
And
famous men.
Yeah. And that's what she did.
Yeah.
You know, so that's
It's a
the
good
real
job
deal.
if you can
If you
get
get
it.
it. Well, she started out like as a, you know, I had to look at this because I was like, what is the real story here?
Yeah.
You know, and she was like a Entertainment Tonight reporter
Oh,
in
was
LA, you know, when she was in her 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
So she was connected and she knew what she was up to.
Yeah.
So this isn't like some accident.
No, she's not like, oh, I slipped on
I
and
just
fell on
showed
this
up.
celebrity dick
Yeah.
over and over and
But people
over.
get worked up with this age gap thing.
And by people, you mean women.
You know what? I'd say it's almost 50-50 from
Really?
So I put out a story that I tell.
Oh, yes.
It was last week.
Yes.
And it was along the lines, I had a locker that was next to the doors when I was in high school. And so every day I would go to my locker like at 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Back when there were still
Back in the
lockers
day,
in
yeah.
schools.
And this blonde who was in my grade, this is just a senior year, would always walk down the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And her boyfriend, who was probably about 36 or 38, in a Corvette, he was a local business owner,
Yeah.
would pick her up.
Yeah.
And she was one of those girls that just carried herself other than. You know, she was very cordial, very polite, very nice.
Yeah.
To everyone. Very, very good looking girl, tall too. But she didn't really relate to anybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
She came in, did school, and left with her boyfriend who was, you know, and I know nothing beyond that.
Yeah.
And that was the story I told.
You mean she's the one girl from your high school experience that you're not still Facebook friends
No,
with?
exactly. Yeah, and I don't know what happened to her. But I put that story out there.
Oh, people get worked up.
People got worked. She's being groomed. Hey, you know, nobody knows that this story's from like 1986.
I did appreciate that
You know.
there are people who like picked up on that. And they were
Yeah,
like,
I'm like, this
"Is these
happened
50s?"
three
Yeah.
decades ago. And I was
calm down.
I know, and just people were worked up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I was a pedophile
You became a
because I
pedophile
was telling
for
the story
telling this
because
story.
I'm projecting or something. But all it was a story of something that I observed. But some of the guys that kind of jumped in, they go, and I've seen this before too, where a girl that is attractive, but like the last couple of years of high school, she won't really date anybody.
Yeah.
But she's not with anybody either.
Yeah.
You know, visible. And then after college, they come back and marry like a coach.
Yeah.
Or the choir director. You know, I mean,
and you have a family friend story about that.
and this had happened relatively recently.
Yeah, very recently.
And as soon as she went to college, probably 2 years into college, you know, it got out that she was dating her choir director.
Yeah.
And
From high school.
And then I guess and this very successful girl on scholarship at a out-of-state college, very smart girl, very straight family.
Yeah.
I mean, multiple kids, dad's, you know, professional, mom stay at home. But I was like, I said, how'd the mom take it? They're like, well, she wasn't happy about it, but they paid for the wedding.
Yeah.
You know, after
Yeah.
she graduated, she's like working for like Pixar or, you know, like Apple. I can't even remember. I mean, at a high level.
Yeah.
You know, so she's no slouch, and he's a choir director.
Exactly.
You know, I guess he might be retired now. But again, it happens, you know, and usually it's the girl's attractive enough to date, but doesn't have a boyfriend, not a visible boyfriend in the picture.
Exactly.
And she's not going to be overly involved.
No.
Because, you know, whatever they're doing, they have to do off campus and away from prying
Well,
eyes.
and there's a point here. I know of at least 2 who slept with their coach. And I had a coach when I was in high school. My boyfriend would drop me off from like hanging out or whatever. And inevitably, I don't know if the coach was just like driving around the neighborhood, but he would like pull up and he'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, Aaron just dropped me off, you know." And we'd go driving around.
Yeah.
We'd go riding around. I mean, and this coach flirted with me. I mean, I think everyone in the school knew that this coach had a crush on me.
Right.
And he got married in the process, I mean, while we were in high school. So it's not like he didn't have any prospects his own age or whatever. They're now divorced. But like, it was kind of interesting. I mean, it was wildly inappropriate.
Yeah.
Looking back at it now.
Yeah, knowing what you know. But it still happens.
We're driving around and we would talk, and I'd go to his classroom every day, and I'm just like enjoying the attention because I'm a girl.
And they eventually, I mean, they eventually get married quite often. That's how it's discovered. They go, "Hey, did you know Coach so-and-so's married to," you know, you're like, "No shit."
No shit.
Yeah, they got 2 kids. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It truly is. But generally that's the tell, is you have a girl who's attractive, usually, not always, but in athletics, and she could be dating, but she's not, you know, and no one else knows anything else about it. You know, and you're always moving so fast, you're not aware of what other people are doing. You don't pry.
This is pretty good. Billy Buster said, "Women want to bang the guy in charge, eh?"
Oh, yeah.
Go figure. I know.
Absolutely.
This is a shock. Just such a surprise.
Anybody that's at the front of the room.
That's why being at the front of the room is always beneficial. If you wanna fuck anyone in the room, you just be in front.
That's it. But people lost their mind over this little innocuous story that I tell like once a year. And I knew when I posted, I was like, we'll just see what happens. And it went off.
Yeah. Oh, it did go off. Speaking of things that went off and people lost their minds over, this Chase, Austin Chase, man, this video.
Which is gone.
Yeah, we haven't been able to find the actual video, but look at this sweet girl just losing. I mean, she's just completely enraptured by whatever it is that he is saying. And you know what? That is fucking awesome. I mean, it's great.
And she was thrilled to be there. And from my understanding is she might have been eyeballing him.
Yeah.
And he said, "Hey, video this," because when she was with a guy at this bar, you know.
Was she really?
And he stepped away to go to the bathroom. And I think Chase is savvy enough to know this girl's going to talk to me or I'll approach her.
Yeah. Well, or,
so
or he just doesn't share it. Like if it goes south, he just doesn't bother sharing.
Exactly. Well, so he's kind of describing, and I don't know what Chase does. I don't know if he's like a relationship coach or, you know.
I think from looking at his Twitter that he must like do.
Got it.
Pick up stuff. Yeah.
But, you know, he basically let her angle towards him.
Yeah.
She's enraptured. This is just like a 5-minute. It's a good demonstration.
It's a great demonstration.
It's a good demonstration of body language, allowing her to come to you. I mean, there's so much going on. Yeah. And he kind of walks people through it.
He got a lot of hate about this.
And I think
a ridiculous amount.
Primarily, maybe because she didn't know she was being filmed.
Does Troy Francis get
No, but he blurs out their face.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that might have been the right move to make with this. You know, but so much of it was her reaction. You have to be able to see her face. And you know it when you see it. You know, and this is a girl that's like thrilled to be there.
Yeah.
You know, and how often will she be that excited? She wasn't excited when she saw her other guys show back up. Right. You know, I mean,
oh, fascinating.
She wasn't that excited.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the thing you kind of have to look at. It. People lost it and just smoked this guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm asking you guys. I mean, what is it? And it's hard for me to make a comment because they see my screen name Playboy and they lose their minds over that too. So
then you're a pedophile
yeah,
or something.
then all of a sudden I'm in that group,
Random.
which is okay. But you know, people.
You're like, I don't even do pickup.
I don't know. The girls get upset because it's revealing the sisterhood.
Yeah.
And it teaches guys how to read women. And the guys, I don't know, they just get mad. Not all. I mean, guys that are in our world, they understand that it's a skill and,
right.
you know, it's teachable and learnable. But and that's what he was doing.
But you have to be able to see this girl's face to pick up on what it is that they're showing you.
Yeah. I mean, it's like when somebody hits like a home run at a baseball game and the crowd stands up and starts cheering. It's the same thing.
It is.
I mean, she's thrilled by the interaction.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But people don't see it. And there were, of course, even people going, yeah, she didn't want to be there. She wasn't that interested. He didn't know what he was doing. You know, you're like, if you know what you're, I mean, as soon as I saw it, I go, man, she is into him.
Yeah.
It was immediate.
You don't even have to watch the video. You just have, or you don't even have to like listen to anything or have the sound on to go, ooh, this.
Yeah.
She is happy to be there.
And it wouldn't have been better if he was facing her. I mean, so much goes into it that everything happened right then perfectly.
Yeah.
And if you could get video of it, even better.
Yeah.
You know, but you don't want.
It was a great demonstration. No, and that's the thing. Nobody in our neck of the woods was shitting on her at all.
No, you see a girl having a good time.
Yeah, it's really, I thought it was a great video and I'm glad that it was shared.
And boy, were people upset. So if you have any insight to why the average Joe takes offense to this, I don't know if it's because it feels like, I don't know.
This is a great comment for exactly what you had just said. I've heard that pickup is like women believing in zodiac signs and that pickup is just manipulation of women. It's teaching guys to just get it. And girls do not want to have to take the lead and explain to guys what they want because oftentimes girls don't even know what they want.
Well, game is defined as learned charisma.
Yeah.
Charisma is what is attractive to girls. No matter what the guy, you know, he can look like a circle, but if he has charisma, he's banging. You know, that's where you're like, how does that guy that's 5'5" close? Because he has charisma. But the deep down inside, you know, you have the alpha beta, and girls avoid betas.
Yeah. They
hate them. They would rather that they die, you know, and alphas they want to, you know, procreate with. And a girl,
or at least practice.
Anything that can camouflage a beta.
Yeah.
And make them look like an alpha concerns women.
Yes.
You know, they've got their
great
filters,
way to put it.
and if you can fool their filters, it upsets them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That's their biggest concern is having a guy that's in camouflage.
Yeah.
Overcome their filters.
But I think it's even next step. It's more than camouflage because as you develop these skills, you go from this being camouflage, something that you are learning and kind of faking.
You can fake it till you make it.
Actually becoming the person that you are.
Absolutely.
Projecting.
With game is definitely something you can fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Because as you practice, you internalize the skills.
Yeah.
And you also get the feedback. So it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's not going to be pretty. But if you do it over time, and game is, I always say like business, fitness, game. Business takes the longest. There's more variables.
Yeah.
Fitness is the most straightforward. You can usually see like, and you're going to get good results. It's the fastest 12 weeks or so. Game is right in the middle. It takes about 6 weeks to 6 months.
Yeah.
But a year of like focusing.
Absolutely.
You will know more than 99.9% of all men.
Yeah.
You know, and understand it.
And sometimes it's as much stuff that you already know that you just kind of need to be reminded of.
Yeah.
I say that a lot with your basic training books. It's like, even if you got the lessons, if you're not reminded of them, oftentimes you're not utilizing.
Exactly.
It goes a long way.
What else do we got?
Well, I was just seeing what Jimmy Dare just said. He says, it's good to get a surprise photo of yourself and your new girlfriend. Oh, this is good. Yeah. So you can check her unposed body language towards you and gauge her interest level. I say this a lot, and I'm glad you said this, Jimmy. So, yes, 1000%. You can tell a lot about a relationship by looking at a couple when they don't necessarily realize you're looking at them.
A candid photo.
Or if he's looking away, how she's looking at him while he's not looking directly at her. I saw this, people tore this apart at the Trump inauguration, that one time where, Melania is smiling whenever he's facing her, and then Trump turns away and her face just falls. And I don't know what the circumstances were of that interaction, or I'm sure stress is high on an inauguration day, go figure. But at the same time, it was a really good example of kind of a girl being one way when you're facing and another when he's turned away.
True. I never heard that. I've never heard about that story or seen that, which surprises me.
Yeah. It's been a while, but yeah, I'm sure you didn't miss. But absolutely, you can tell so much about body language, about her true feelings for a guy, whether it's a brand new relationship or old school established.
I'm pretty sure that marriage counselors, that's probably 80% of what they're doing is reading
absolutely
interaction.
Absolutely. Of course, by the time a couple's in marriage counseling, they loathe each other most of the time.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. Okay, next, and you haven't actually seen these yet.
Okay.
But so, God bless her. I've got a girlfriend who is, she's my nose damaged girlfriend. I'll put it that way. In the classic ways that we know people deal with things, relationship wise and otherwise. And so she posts a lot of this kind of stuff. But this is a series of Instagram posts that she shared that she didn't make, but she shared on her story. And so I wanted to jump into these. The dangers of conditioning women to be possible or people pleasers. Now, I just want to put this caveat out there that I think that this should be called good manners, because truly, I think that women are groomed to be people pleasers because it's good manners to be kind to people and to be respectful of people and things like that. So I am not putting this up here because I agree with it on any level, okay? Women are conditioned from a young age to focus on the comfort of others before their own. Yes, this is genuinely how we were created to be. This isn't a conditioning. This is how we were created. We were created to be a man's helper, to be assistant to people, to raise children, to create, and raise these babies. Like, none of this is because women are supposed to be large and in charge.
No, that's good. I've never seen these before.
Yeah.
But I hear what would you say? I hear the lament.
Yeah, exactly. The messages are, you're going to upset them. Don't be difficult. Why are you being dramatic? Don't make daddy mad. Hug your uncle or he'll feel bad. Be a good girl for me. Come back when you're not angry.
Is she in her 40s or 50s?
Yes. She's
normal.
my age.
Yeah, that's normal. This is a normal thing.
And I don't know how old the person is who actually created this post.
No.
But there are a lot of women from 20 to 80, well, I'm going to say 20 to 60, who are adopting this mindset. This isn't just about my friend.
Right. No. My limited take.
Yeah.
Is women kind of like, once the kids are like teenagers.
Yeah.
That late 30s, early 40s, 50s, they're kind of pissed and they're tired of taking care of things.
Yeah.
Because they don't feel like they're getting a return on there.
And I think that's where the
Talk about
appreciation factor that we talked about on last week's
Yeah.
Hustle show comes into play a lot.
Yeah.
You know, stay-at-home moms do not post things like this.
No, they're busy.
They're
very busy.
They're busy and they feel appreciated
Yeah,
because
that's
this
true.
is their
Yeah.
job and this is what they love.
Yes.
So this kind of post is actually shitting on women like myself. I got to be a stay-at-home mom and it was fantastic, you know, that they're actually shitting on people who do what they were created to do, which is to raise children, to be a helper, to make their husband's life more pleasant and easier to be in.
Yeah.
But all of these messages that are on the screen right now are standard issue good manners.
Yeah.
Also, I think that's probably what bothers me about this the most, because I was raised in an area where manners were of key importance. It bothers me that the opposite of this would be something that people think they should behave.
Yeah. And I can see where, for girls that are younger, the moms are coaching them into this.
Which is dangerous.
Yeah.
Which is dangerous for the future of humanity. Reinforced over and over again, these messages disconnect women from their intuition and internal alarm that signals danger. See, this gets spun not only from a bad manners thing, it gets spun into all men who are approaching you are pedophiles. They have bad sexual things that they're going to do to you if you're nice to them. As far as I'm aware, this friend of mine does not have sexual damage in her past. You know, she has great relationships with uncles and dads and all this kind of stuff. So this message going from just bad manners to being twisted into something dirty and sexual just because, you know, you hug your uncle or because you're nice to, you know, your father's friend whenever he comes over is terrible. This is just awful. This begins the pattern of fawning to appease others. Even if her anger or discomfort is valid, she's told not to feel it, to keep the peace at all costs. Let me tell you, this is absolute bullshit. This is untrue programming that women now are falsely remembering. This is absolutely not accurate information. If you're my age or older, you were not taught that even if, you know, Uncle Huey is touching your ass while he's hugging you, just continue to let him touch your ass while he's hugging you.
Yeah, there's lines not to be crossed.
This is wrong. This is a wrong message right here. I'm actually like getting mad right now.
That's understandable.
This makes her vulnerable to manipulation and creates situations that are harmful because upsetting someone makes she done wrong.
If she's done something wrong.
Yeah, that she's done something wrong. So rather than assert herself or set a clear boundary by saying no, she continues to please for a sense of approval that she's been taught to chase since childhood. Lord help me.
How does this translate to what these guys will see on the ground?
This is what's creating these bitter, pissed off women.
Got it.
And I'm bitter and pissed off now watching it. Like it's a catch.
Because your job's hard enough as it is.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's
it's true.
interesting.
It's like pushing, you know, a boulder uphill sometimes. And this is why, you know, when I first started on Twitter, when we first started on Twitter under these pseudonyms, you know, oftentimes I had men reach out and say, would you please write something for women? Will you please teach a course for women? More women need to understand these lessons that you're teaching. You know, I would buy it for my daughter, blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is, number one, women don't want to hear the messages that I'm teaching about being a good partner, being a compliment, not challenging him. Women do not want this message because they're being manipulated in this way that I was just showing you. Number two, the girls, like I would buy this for my daughter. The girls don't want this message. You have to think of kind of the messages that you would have been able to hear when you were that age, and oftentimes the kind of messages that we were just going through are them. But it's incredibly detrimental to look at the problems that girls, even in college right now and beyond, they're putting off marriage, they're putting off childbearing, they're putting off, they're destroying their bodies in a myriad of ways. They're thinking that living a life in other kinds of relationships is not going to be detrimental to, the family dynamic. There's all kinds of, do you have anything to say? Do you have anything to contribute to this conversation?
How far out, this is how far out her ideas were when she started like 5 years ago. At least half the messages were, are you actually a female?
True. Yeah. Which is actually the reason I initially started showing my face in these otherwise anonymous accounts, was because everyone just assumed that I was a man.
Yeah. That's
because
how
of the way I think.
It's a little bit more accepted. I mean, because you see more women, you see Rollo on shows with girls, and there's other women in the space now.
Yeah.
But
coming
there
and going.
weren't yet coming and going. But and there's some interaction, but at one point it was just Bunny, like one or two other girls that
Didn't last long.
Come and go, because it's hard.
It is hard. Like Billy Buster said, world weariness isn't feminine, is it? Yeah.
No,
exactly.
Wears them down. Yeah, it's true.
Exactly.
No, I could not add anything to that, because you're on a roll and you're right. You know what I mean? I mean, that's it's a girl world thing.
Yeah.
That's why I asked, how do guys see this on the ground?
Yeah.
That's the biggest.
I believe that the guys see it on the ground from a standpoint of just being incredibly bitter. These women are bitter and abrasive. Yeah. And a lot less tolerant of game. It can still be overcome. And I think that that's where game, learn charisma, having self-confidence, it still overcomes. You still will run into women who are this kind of abrasive, and you can overcome that.
Keep in mind, game does not work on damaged women.
No.
It's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah.
Girls that have a lot of damage through sex or bad relationships or history or as kids and they had no control over it.
Yeah.
Don't respond to game in a positive sense. They tend to become angry or push back against it. So it's kind of a safety. It's a filter for you guys, and also to kind of like warn you off of the wrong girls.
Sure. That's a good point. But I will say that there are a lot of girls these days who have been, I'm going to say, what's that word that groomed? Girls are not being groomed to be, all the negative things that we were talking about earlier that women want to put on it. Girls are being groomed to be bitter and alone and pretend that that's okay.
You can see it.
They're being groomed by messages like what I just went through. And so even if the girl is not damaged herself, I believe that these kinds of messages are infiltrating. And then that's where, if the game works, if game is working, if your charisma is drawing her in, we've seen even in the last year or so, girls who were pretty hardcore, arm's length kind of women, had gone through divorce, had been a little bit broken by that. It actually did catch the girls off guard that they were being divorced from. And yet game, learned charisma, being in front of the right kind of guy, complete 180.
Yes. Game and you and your charisma can overcome a lot. That's like when guys are like, hey, this girl's like really liberal, or she listens to country music, or whatever hobby she pursues. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because 99% of the time, when a girl starts to like a guy,
yeah,
she starts forming herself to him.
1000%.
She picks up his political views. She picks up his likes in music, his hobbies.
Yeah.
They just mold themselves to him.
And it's not always immediate.
No,
I think
takes time.
I think that's where there's a little bit of a misunderstanding with that kind of statement.
Okay.
And it's 1000% accurate. But she has to kind of get to a place where she trusts him. She's exposed to it. They drive around and he's playing country music, or he's playing whatever kind of music he listens to, and she's like, oh, I hate this song.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, oh my God, it's my favorite song. We're going to listen to it on repeat. Within weeks, it's her favorite song.
Yeah.
She doesn't mind it. I mean,
Exposure.
yeah. Let's see what. Bingo. And then loneliness causes government dependency and taxation. Yeah. I mean, it's just, yeah. I'm loving, guys. Thank you so much for warming up the chatterbox.
Yeah, it goes a long way.
It's really great because we truly want this to be a very interactive kind of programming, and you guys are nailing it. Awesome. What other thoughts do you have, honey?
This has been great. There's a lot that happened last week. There will be a lot happening this week.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So.
I love it. Well, that's all we've got on the schedule.
If you guys do have very specific questions, I should say, you have a form on your website, correct? For things that we can discuss in the Morning Hustle, on Bunny's show, on Bunny Live, on Sunday mornings.
On the podcast.
Yeah. So if you have questions, give the URL.
So it's myplayboysbunny.com/men, and there is a submit question for Q&A.
I'm literally blanking out.
That's okay. And that's a really great way to submit a question ahead of time. Maybe it's a little bit more involved than you would like to put in a chat. Maybe you don't necessarily want it to be something that you post on a live forum so that everyone can see where it comes from. So if there are any questions, or if they're just questions that you want to make sure we see, maybe you keep trying to get it in the chat box and we keep not seeing it, that's a great place to do it.
And on Friday, there should be a link below. Chicks Dig Jerks.
I love it.
The complete guide to asshole game by CHATEAU HEARTISTE.
It's a great
It's
collection.
for sale now, discounted, and then it will publish on Friday. If you're interested, grab it now. Save $10 or $15.
Yeah, I love it. It's a good book.
And then once your asshole game gets them in bed, you use the
fuck like a porn star, baby, to become the sex god that we know you have in you. And the course is going really well right now.
It's good.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun teaching men. What I keep going through in my head is that, we had sex ed in high school. This is not sex ed for boys. That was sex education for boys. This is sex education for men. And I'm having a lot of fun, helping men kind of go to the absolute upper limits of their sexual experience. It's not all that important to some guys. Not all men think that sex needs to be more than just kind of a
get in, get out.
Get in and get out occasional thing. It's good enough. Good enough is good enough. But for those of you who want more from your sexual experience, I recommend not only Fuck Like a Porn Star, the book, but then the next level, super 21-day total immersion course that is kicking ass and taking names.
And Bunny and we talked about this earlier this week. A lot of guys don't have a lot of experience that are kind of in our world that are coming in. The more education you have, the more confident you are going into the situation. And that's why we kind of encourage guys that are like, I've been with one or two girls. That's okay, because the education will give you more confidence, which is key to performing well.
1000%.
Cool.
I just realized I don't think that your asshole game. I don't think the Chick Stick Jerks link is in the description box, so I will add that
Cool.
right now, and it'll be in the first comment so that it's easy to access because I want you guys picking that up. It's too good to resist.
We appreciate you guys taking the time out to watch our show.
Yeah.
Hope we got something out of it, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys. When's your next show?
Well, the next will be, other than our daily podcast, the next live show will be Sunday's Bunny Show Live.
Perfect. Have a great day, guys.
Bye! We want you to win.